Main man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. You know, one of the things in boxing that has gotten not nearly enough coverage, in my opinion, is this upcoming tournament they got going on, man. It's called the World Boxing Super Series. And this thing is looking like a pretty good thing, to be honest with you, man. At first, I was a little skeptical about it. Didn't know how organized it would be. Didn't know the participants that would be involved. But given that the lineup of fighters that they have and what they're trying to do with this tournament, man, I'm actually down for it, Joe. You know, this thing was all started by Richard Schaefer. Richard Schaefer, former Golden Boy assistant CEO or whatever his title was with Golden Boy. Basically world renowned at this point for taking all of the fighters from Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, while Oscar was on one of his rehabs or whatnot. This was the time that in which Richard Schaefer took a lot of the top fighters that were signed under Golden Boy, and Oscar thinking they were in exclusive contracts, knowing that they wasn't. So when Richard Schaefer departed Golden Boy, so did all of those fighters. They all went over to the Al Heyman side. Hence, you have the PBC fighters, ladies and gentlemen. Well, however, Richard Schaefer, former Swiss banker, you know what I'm saying, guy with all the connections, he linked up with Kale Sauerland of Sauerland Promotions in Germany, and basically they got together and they put this thing on. Man, they got down with a company called Camosa AG. Camosa AG, no surprise to anybody. It's a Swiss organization, man. They came out of nowhere. Camosa AG, Richard Schaefer of Ringstar Sports and Sauerland Promotions all got together. They got a big bag of money. I'm hearing $50 million worth of prizes, ladies and gentlemen. A big, beautiful trophy called the Muhammad Ali Trophy. And to top it all off, recently been announced that the WBC would now interject a diamond belt. A diamond belt, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't seen, I believe, the diamond belt since the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. It's more of a symbolic belt. Clearly a way for the WBC to get their name interjected into this tournament, man. You know, maybe even collect some sanctioning fees. Who fucking knows, man? But this particular tournament is being featured 16 boxers from 2 weight classes. You know what I mean? The first weight class being the cruiserweight. You have 8 fighters coming out of the cruiserweight division. Now, basically, from the list of names that you have coming out of cruiserweight, it's the who's who of cruiserweight. You have every pretty much world champion, ladies and gentlemen, from cruiserweight involved in this particular tournament, with the exception of Tony Bellew, and that's mainly because Tony Bellew wants to keep his options alive, whether he'll rematch David Haye or whether he'll go down and face Andre Ward, man. So, you know, this thing is looking very, very promising. The other 8 fighters will be coming from the super middleweight division. Now, the only major names that are probably missing from that particular weight class is maybe the Durrell brothers, I'm thinking. But we all knew that Anthony Durrell had an upcoming fight with Callum Smith. Now, Callum Smith has since joined the tournament, given that it's said that the talks between Callum Smith and Anthony Durrell have broken down due to them not being able to come to an agreement on the location of the fight. So whatever, something like that broke the entire fight down. I think Callum Smith just wanted to join into this thing anyway, especially given that he will still be fighting for a WBC title, because if he would have fought Durrell, he would have been fighting for that vacant WBC title that Badu Jack left. So in this case, Callum Smith is still fighting for a WBC title, and in this particular case, a diamond title. And if he wins this thing here, man, he'll be recognized as basically the big man at 168. So I mean, the prize gives, you know, there's a big prize here. Also missing from 168 is James DeGale. We didn't see James DeGale get involved in this particular thing. I guess he wants to continue to defend his titles, or I don't know why he didn't jump in this, because the who's who of 168 is in this. George Groves is in this, which is actually quite shocking also, because George Groves is coming off winning his first world title, and you wouldn't have thinking, you know, given that he took him three times to get it, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, he would have turned around and jumped into this tournament. He said he wanted to have the fighters call him out. There was some talks between him and James DeGale. I'm guessing that it's not going very well, because though George Groves has beaten James DeGale, since then he hasn't racked up the level of victories that James DeGale has. So the A-side argument can be going down in that particular thing, man. And whatever the fuck, George Groves decided to join this World Boxing Super Series. So, man, you got some real good names here. I mean, all in all, ladies and gentlemen, you got You got some very, very stellar names. Like I said, you have the who's who of the cruiserweight division, and from what I'm seeing, you got 16 participants. You got 7 belts involved. You got 5 world champions. You got 3 former world champions. You got 9 undefeated fighters. All of these fighters have a combined record of 398 wins, 16 losses, 275 KOs, man. And this is not counting Chris Eubanks and Arthur Abrams, who have an upcoming fight, and the winner of that fight will have the last spot on the super middleweight side to fill the rosters, man. So they're waiting on the winner of that fight. They also have a couple boxers on standby. They got the guy Glowacki, and they got Feisenbutts. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I hope I ain't butchering these names here, man. But they got those 2 guys on standby just in case 2 fighters can't make it for whatever reason, injuries, whatever the case may be. So those guys are ready to go, man. They've covered basically everything. The draft went down last night, so I'm not sure how the seeding went. From what I understand, the top 4 seeded boxers of each weight class will get a chance to basically choose their opponent, and it's going to be, a bracket style, 1-loss elimination tournament, you know what I'm saying, all the way to the Muhammad Ali trophy, man. This is going to be good, man. This is going to be real good. This definitely is going to determine the who's who of the cruiserweight division. Whoever emerges as the winner of this particular tournament in cruiserweight will be recognized as the #1 fighter amongst cruiserweight, because it's good to see all champions basically involved in this particular situation. As for the super middleweights, the most recognizable names, like I said before, is George Groves and Callum Smith. I do recognize a couple of them, like Eric Skoglund and who else we got? Rob Brandt. I've seen those guys fight before, so it gives a lot of shine to a much needed, a division that needs the attention in a lot of ways, man. The 168 division can definitely use the attention, and the cruiserweight division can absolutely use the attention. Now, according to Richard Schaefer, hasn't been decided yet whom is going to show where this is going to be broadcasted at in America. He's working on all kind of network deals around the world. From what I understand, Showtime was interested in airing this because originally Richard Schaefer wanted to do a welterweight tournament, but he approached Showtime with this welterweight tournament, and it turns out that Showtime is doing their own unofficial welterweight tournament right now, so they just didn't feel as though that they needed that. But given that this made Richard Schaefer then, switch it on over to cruiserweight and also use the super middleweight division, at least in the first season, because from what I'm told, if this is going to be an ongoing thing, if this first season is very successful or whatnot. But Showtime is showing a lot of interest in them basically doing the cruiserweight and super middleweight division. So Showtime has been at the press conferences. They've been in talks with Richard Schaefer and Sauerland Promotions, in extensive talks from what I hear. And they're looking to possibly hope to air this thing. So the broadcasting rights are being worked out, and this is going to be a worldwide shown event. So this is going to expect this to be shown in Germany, UK, America, you name it, man. It's going to be shown there. Richard Schaefer is getting this thing put on a big stage, and it's good, man. This is a good thing because these fighters, they definitely can use the spotlight. They definitely can use the purses and also the recognition that comes with this particular tournament. So, man, looking forward to it. Like I said, I may do a follow-up video to see how the draft went, man, to see who will be fighting who in the first few rounds. The championship fight for the tournament for each weight class will be happening in May of 2018, ladies and gentlemen. So, that's basically all you need to know, aside from the actual boxers. Now, I would run down the list of them, but, I may say 85% of their names, man. So I'll just task y'all from do your homework and just go and look up the list of boxers that are involved. Just know it's the who's who of cruiserweight, pretty much the who's who of super middleweight, with the exception of James DeGale and the Darrell brothers. But other than that, man, it's pretty much the who's who of each weight class, and they're going to do this thing tournament style, bracket style, make it very, very simple, nothing complicated. The winner takes all, basically 1-loss elimination, no losers bracket. Just if you lose, you're out of there, man. I'm feeling this thing, man, and I will be tuning in, and I hope you do too, man. Real shit. So to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man. Boxing Forum, Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. Like I said, I'm shocked though at a couple of these boxes. boxers, mainly George Groves, man, and also Callum Smith. Because Callum Smith, I don't know if he ducked Anthony Durrell and got out of that situation, man. They say it was over location. I get it, but I mean that would have been a good fight, a very evenly matched fight, if you will, and it would have been for a very, very big prize. So to see Callum Smith back out of that, man, is very surprising. Very surprising indeed. But there are $50 million in total prizes, ladies and gentlemen. Holy smokes. The winner of this tournament walks away with 10+ million in their pocket. Easy. That's very tempting. To the next video. Peace out.